The sun hung lazily over the sprawling mansion, its golden light reflecting off the crystal-clear pool that shimmered like a sheet of glass. Everything about the estate spoke of power, wealth, and control, just like its owner, Adrian Cole, a self-made millionaire known for his sharp instincts and colder-than-steel decisions. But that afternoon, as his car rolled silently through the gates earlier than expected, something felt off. Adrian had built his empire by trusting no one, and today, that instinct pulled him home unannounced. He stepped out of his car, his polished shoes tapping against the stone pathway, his eyes already scanning for anything unusual. The house was quiet, too quiet. No staff bustling, no sounds of routine activity. A strange tension filled the air, pulling him toward the backyard. As he approached the pool area, voices broke the silence, soft laughter, light, carefree, unfamiliar in this rigid household. Adrian slowed his steps, his expression hardening. And then he saw them. There, in the middle of the pool, was his son, Ethan, laughing in a way Adrian hadn't seen in years. The boy clung to the maid, a young woman named Clara, who had been working in the house for only a few months. She held him securely, smiling warmly, her presence calm and nurturing. Water rippled gently around them as they shared a moment so genuine, so full of life, that it almost didn't belong in Adrian's world, but instead of warmth, a surge of suspicion shot through him. His jaw tightened. His voice, when it came, was sharp and cutting. "How long has this been happening?" The words sliced through the air like a blade. Clara froze instantly, her smile fading, while Ethan turned, startled, his small hands gripping her tighter. Adrian stepped closer, his eyes locked onto the scene, analyzing every detail, the closeness, the comfort, the ease between them. To him, it looked like a boundary crossed, a betrayal of trust. In his world, kindness was often a mask, and loyalty was always temporary. Clara carefully guided Ethan toward the edge of the pool before stepping out, her movements controlled but her eyes steady. She didn't look guilty, she looked concerned. "Sir, I can explain," she said softly, her voice calm despite the tension. Adrian crossed his arms, his gaze unrelenting. "I'm listening," he replied coldly. Ethan, still dripping wet, looked between them with confusion. "Dad, we were just quiet," Adrian interrupted, not harshly, but firmly enough to silence the boy. His focus remained on Clara. She took a breath, choosing her words carefully. "Ethan has been afraid of the water since his accident last year," she began. Adrian's expression didn't change, but something flickered in his eyes. He wouldn't go near the pool. He wouldn't even talk about it. "But a few days ago, he told me he wanted to try again," slowly. She glanced at Ethan, who now looked down, nervously rubbing his hands together. "I stayed with him. Just to help him feel safe." Adrian's mind raced. He remembered the accident, a near-drowning incident that had left Ethan terrified and withdrawn. Since then, the boy had become distant, quiet, almost like a shadow of himself. Adrian had tried everything, therapists, specialists, expensive programs, but nothing had worked. And now, this, he smiled today. "Sir," Clara added gently. For the first time in a long time. The words hit harder than Adrian expected. He looked at his son, really looked at him, not as a responsibility, not as an extension of his legacy, but as a child. And there it was. A spark. A light he hadn't seen in months. Ethan looked up, hesitant, as if waiting for approval or rejection. Adrian felt something unfamiliar stir within him, something he had buried beneath years of ambition and control. "Is that true?" Adrian asked, his voice quieter now. Ethan nodded slowly. "I wasn't scared," he said softly. "Not with Clara." Silence stretched between them, heavy but shifting. Adrian exhaled, the tension in his shoulders easing just slightly. For the first time, doubt crept into his certainty, not doubt about Clara, but about himself. Had he been so focused on building a future that he had forgotten how to be present in his son's life? Clara stepped back, giving them space. She didn't try to defend herself further. She didn't need to. The truth was already there, reflected in Ethan's eyes. Adrian cleared his throat, his voice no longer sharp, but measured. "You should get changed," he told Ethan. The boy hesitated, then smiled faintly before running inside. Adrian remained by the pool, his gaze lingering on the water. "You crossed a line," he said after a moment, his tone not accusing, but thoughtful. Clara nodded. "I understand, sir. I was only trying to help. Adrian studied her, searching for any sign of deceit, but there was none. Just sincerity. You did help, he admitted quietly. That moment changed something. Not just in Ethan, but in Adrian himself. For the first time, he realized that not everything could be controlled, calculated, or bought. Some things, like trust, healing, and genuine connection, required something far more valuable, presence. And as the sun dipped lower, casting golden reflections across the water, Adrian made a silent decision. Maybe it was time to stop being just a millionaire, and start being a father. If you felt the emotion in this story and want more powerful, heart-touching stories like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because the next story might just change the way you see the world.